Hi, my name is Matt Hadley. Welcome to my channel, and I am here in my church. And you might see the title of this saying, well, this is a studio tour. The interesting thing about my studio is it is also my church office. So let me explain a little bit and we'll get into it. So interestingly enough, my church office is up in the attic, which makes for a very interesting experience. In the summers it gets really hot, and in the winter it can get really cold. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun space, but it's kind of nice to be tucked away and kind of have my own space and own spot. And so let me show you what it's like. So as you can see, the ceiling actually goes down on both sides. You can hit the ceiling pretty easily with your head if you're not careful when you get to the edges. So there's definitely a bunch of space in here, especially how I have my desk in the corner, which allows, a lot of space here in the rest of the room to be used and be available for whatever I want it available for. How do you share space between your church office and also use it as your studio? First of all, my church has been extremely kind and understanding and supportive of this passion of mine, and it's something that I've kind of already been doing within my job at the church. Among many other things, I would make videos and put together multimedia stuff. So a lot of this gear is just helpful for the projects that I put together for the church, as well as then my stuff that I do on the side. It really is helpful in many different ways to have both my studio and my church office as one and the same. So one of the cool things about this space is that the church is actually right next door to my house, or should I say my house is right next door to the church. I actually live in the parsonage, and so for my job it's nice. I can just walk over and walk back and have lunches, at home and all those type of things. But it's really nice for having my gear here and having my studio kind of in this space as well, because I can do the same thing in the evenings. I can come over and I can get some videos done, or I can, on my days off, just come over and have a space that's away from the craziness of the house sometimes and be able to get things done. So it's really nice to have the location of this space so close to my house. It makes things so much easier. So how does this space work as a dual purpose office? Well, it works because I work hard at making sure it's first and foremost my church office. That's the building it's in, that's its purpose. The added bonus is it is a space that can double as my studio and that I use to, record these videos sometimes, or just be able to do some talking head stuff. But first and foremost, it is my office as a pastor, and so I try to think of the space in that way. I will always have a space that I can, meet with people, that I can have meetings in my office, that I can have all of my resources, books, all of those things available, readily available, and that is my priority and will always be my priority as long as my studio stuff is in this space. However, the nice thing is that because I can design it the way that I want, I can create the dual purpose within the space. And I've done that by building in the bookshelves, which gets the books kind of off to the edges, having some storage areas that I can put my gear. It works out pretty well. I will say it's super nice to have this space to be creative. Not just for my video projects, but I'd even say for my ministry that I can come up here and it's a space that excites me to think of new things, to try new things, to really challenge myself in different ways, both academically as well as creatively here for these videos. So to have a space like this has just been super helpful and super beneficial in many, many different ways. So I did want to mention, actually, this space has been renovated here recently. Really kind of during the pandemic, I took that time to redo my office. It used to be a lot more cluttered. Let's just say I was not using the space well at all. And so I just wanted to go over the few of those things that I did to really open up the space a lot more. One of the biggest things is, if you can see over here, I built these shelves that match. I think I can get them both in here. Yeah, both sides. You can see over here and over here that I built in these bookshelves. And then I also built in one over here as well. They look sweet. I really like how they turned out. They kind of frame in this crazy wall over here, but they also put all my books somewhere that's not... I used to have bookshelves, and what would happen is, because the wall slants down like this, I could only put those bookshelves in certain areas, and I could only do the half ones. Like, I kept this one over here. I didn't paint it, but at least I kept it. This is my junk corner over here, so it's a little messy, but it really limited what I could do in this room. And I had to put bookshelves in certain areas, and yeah, it just didn't allow me to use the space efficiently. So that was one of the bigger changes I made. I also painted all of this wood paneling. It used to be that really dark brown color that all that wood paneling is, and so I painted all of that the blue color, and then over here on the sides, if you can kind of see what's going on, I painted all of that white, as well as all of this paneling over here that's behind the bookshelves. I painted all of that white as well. So that was huge. Also, the ceiling wasn't really this nice reflective white. It was kind of a darker tan color. And then for some reason, when I first got here, I painted this ceiling over here. I painted it this dark red. I don't know if I have a picture of it that I can show you, but it just made this feel even smaller and darker. And so I painted all of that. Paint can do wonders. Paint can do wonders. So consider it, think about that. I also then added track lighting. I don't have it on right now just for that, but you can see up here, I added all of that track lighting, as well as this up here. So when I don't want to use just the natural light or my lighting here for these videos, then I can just use that track lighting. That's what I use probably 90% of the time. I only turn it off when I'm making videos like this. So the only other notable thing, at least for you know, videos and YouTube stuff and studios things that, you know, if I'm doing talking heads or things like that, what's really nice is on my windows, I have a lot of nice natural light, which I really like, but I've also then added this to where I can go ahead and shut these down here, and all of a sudden I can really control the lighting in here, which is really nice. So it goes from super bright, super nice, to now, if I even turned this light off here, it gets really dark. To have a space where you can really control lighting and manipulate lighting the way that you want it to come across is really nice. It gives you options. It gives you a lot of options for different feelings or moods of videos that you'd like to do. So yeah, those are some small things that I changed about this space in order to provide a setting that I could use as a studio as well as my office. All right, so this wouldn't be a proper YouTube video if I didn't give you a couple of suggestions or a couple of tips. And here are my thoughts on creating a space or a studio. So the first one is this: designate a space or a place that you can call your own. And what I mean by that is find a place that you won't be bothered, that you can kind of control all of the elements you need to control in making videos or doing the work that you need to do. It can still be dual purpose. You can find places, in your house and be creative, with window treatments or building features into the walls for storage, or just paint colors, different things like that. But try to find that one space, that one place. I think that will help you get the most out of the time that you spend in that space. My second tip is this: create a space that inspires you and then allows you to be as creative as you can be. This seems pretty simplistic, but you'd be surprised. If you're not aware of it, you can create a space that might really not inspire you at all. That you might sit in and wonder why you're not being more creative, or inspired to get things done, or all of those things. And a lot of it can be aesthetics, things within the room that limit those things. So keep that in mind. What inspires you? Maybe it's quotes on the wall, maybe it's certain paint colors, maybe it's natural light. What helps you be the most creative that you can be? Know those things and then add those into the space that you're trying to create. So tip number 3, this one might seem a lot like number 2, but create a space and find a place for that space that you want to spend time in. For instance, if you don't like the basement because it's drafty or damp or for whatever reason, then don't create a space down there that you want to put your studio in, because you're probably not going to spend a lot of time down there. And then that kind of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do. So find a place, whether it be in your house or in your town, for a studio space that you want to spend a lot of time at. That will help the whole process, and I think you'll be happier because you put it in a place that you like to spend time in. And finally, make the space reflect who you are, not who Pinterest people are or someone you saw on YouTube. Make the space your own. Make it speak of who you are as an artist, as a creative, as a, whatever it is that you're using the space for. Let it speak to who you are. Make it your own. Add little things that when people walk in, they go, oh, that's totally you. And I think that'll help a ton. All right, guys, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, go ahead and hit the like button. Also subscribe. I'd love for you to join this channel, and hopefully we'll have many more videos like this, as well as videos on my family, ministry, and everything in between. So thanks for joining me on this one. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.